So what is going on, guys? I'm Black Ops Amazing. Welcome back to another video on the channel where today we are back with a Zombies Q&A. You know by now the series where I take your questions from the comment section below to do with the zombie storyline, Easter eggs, and I answer them. So as always, if you enjoyed today's video, by the end, drop a like rating. Make sure you are subscribed to stay up to date with the latest videos on the channel. But let's get into this. Here we go, and enjoy. So the first question of the day from Timothy Baker says, am I the only one who is questioning Klaus saying, are we still in the first 30 seconds of the video? I don't think YouTube's going to allow me to say that just yet. But why does he say that when he walks into the Dark Aether? I mean, we all know he walked in, the warhead went off, but are we sure he didn't end up seeing something? I know it's a long shot, but what damage did the warhead actually do to the Dark Aether? So if we just go back to the Mauser Toten ending cutscene, we can see when Klaus picks up the warhead and walks into the Dark Aether, just seconds after he enters the portal, he says this.
I'll feed this hand.
Throwing decoy. Nice, well done.
Now he does say this just before the inversion warhead goes off, which makes me think that's surely the reason why he's saying it. He realises what's about to happen, that he's about to die, but, as you say in your question, could there be another reason, and could that be that maybe he's just seen the Forsaken? Since he's just entered the Dark Aether, maybe waiting on the other side for him was the Forsaken. He saw him, and that's the reason why he said it. Personally, I don't believe that. It makes more sense the reason why he says this is because he realises what's about to happen. The next question says, is the Frozen Forest the same as the one we see in D Machine, and what even is it? So for anyone who isn't really fully up to date with the storyline, or maybe didn't play BO3, BO4, or even Cold War, and you're asking, what even is the Frozen Forest? It is this. The forest we saw in the Black Ops 3 loading screen, the forest we saw in Black Ops 4's ending cutscene tagged Toten, what some people also believe is the same forest we see in D Machine, but there has never really been any official information about this forest. What it is, where it takes place, what it means, and even the name itself. As far as I'm aware, having done loads of research on this, the name, the Frozen Forest, isn't even official. That's just something we as a community have called it. One, because there's so little information about it, and two, because it acts very similar to the Frozen Forest we saw in Black Ops 3's campaign. The Frozen Forest in BO3's campaign was a neurological landscape that was created by Corvus in order to simulate life after death. And if we look at the forest in Zombies, every time we've seen it, say the BO3 menu, in this instance we have our characters sitting on a log around a campfire, and surrounding them are zombies. However, the zombies are ignoring them. It's almost as like our characters, whether it be Primus, Richtoff and Takeo Nikolai and Dempsey, the Shadows of Evil crew, anyone we played as in BO3, when you die at the end of a game, the end screen, I guess you could call it, what you see every time is the forest, and then we end up back at the main menu where our characters are in it. So was it just a coincidence that every time we died or ended a game on Black Ops 3 Zombies, we were sent back to the forest, and we just happened to know that the Frozen Forest from the campaign was a landscape that simulated life after death? We have our characters dying in Zombies and then being sent back to this forest. It seems like the two work very similar, and also obviously look similar as well, which got us thinking, because of what we know the Frozen Forest is in the campaign, and in the main menu we have zombies ignoring our characters, and this is where we end up when you die or end a game. Is this forest in Zombies also simulating life after death? Are our characters dead here every time we see them? Is that the reason why the zombies are ignoring them? Because just like them, our characters are dead? So because of the link we can make between the two, I want you to just take a listen to what Corvus says about the Frozen Forest in the campaign.
Listen only to the sound of my voice. Let your mind relax. Let your thoughts drift. Let the bad memories fade. Let peace be upon you. Surrender yourself to your dreams. Let them wash over you like gentle waves of the bluest ocean. Let them envelop you, comfort you. Imagine somewhere calm. Imagine somewhere safe. Imagine yourself in a frozen forest. You are standing in a clearing. The trees around you so tall they touch the sky. Pure white snowflakes fall all around. You can feel them melt on your skin. You are not cold. It cannot overcome the warmth of your beating heart. Can you hear it? You only have to listen. Do you hear it slowing? You are slowing it. You are in control. Calm. At peace.
Now, like I said, it wasn't only BO3's menu where we saw this, also in the Tag Do Toten ending, our characters, the Primus and Ultimus crew, along with Eddie and Samantha, they also end up in a forest. I suppose the first question should be, is it the same one? We can't be 100% sure, but I would have thought so. Our characters are still alive at this point in the Tag Do Toten ending cutscene, but is it a coincidence that this is their final resting place? The frozen forest in the campaign is a place that simulates life after death, and the forest in Zombies is the place where Primus and Ultimus die. This is where they kill themselves and break the cycle. The Aether timeline ended right here, but that doesn't mean the storyline was over, because we then have Black Ops Cold War Zombies, which is a continuation of Black Ops 4. The storyline continues. At the end of Tag Do Toten, we see the children, Samantha and Eddie, walk off into light and they enter our new universe in Cold War. And the very first map we see in Cold War is D Machine, and what is surrounding this whole map, there is a frozen forest. And like I said, there are many theories out there about the D Machine forest being the same as the frozen forest we saw in the Tag Do Toten ending or BO3's menu. And whilst there is nothing concrete that can prove that, everything from here really is theory, besides from a forest being the last thing we saw in Black Ops 4 and then the first thing we see in Cold War. If we take a listen to the lyrics from D Machine's song, which is called Alone, well, some of the stuff said here is very interesting. The very first words that are sung say, "They buried a well where the seven fell." In the Tag Do Toten ending cutscene, technically, and there are three ways you can really look at this in my opinion, but you could say it was 7 of our characters that died. There were 8 characters, 2 versions of both Richtof and Takeo Nikolai and Dempsey, and 7 of them died due to poisoning from Primus Nikolai. It was 7 of our characters that fell, and the remaining one, he killed himself, or at least he got Samantha to shoot him in the head. I suppose you could also look at it another way, because 7 of our characters died, Richtof and Takeo, Nikolai, Dempsey, both Ultimus and the Primus versions, but you could say Richtofen ended up surviving in terms of Eddie. Eddie Richtofen is the one remaining version of him, so if 7 characters fell in the forest, the lyrics tell us they buried a well where the 7 fell, and what is buried beneath the forest in D Machine, that is Project Endstation, the cyclotron. If this was the case, well, we know that D Machine is located in Poland. If this was the same forest, that would suggest that the forest in Tag Do Toten or the BO3 cutscene was here as well. We also know that the original version of Nectar and Totem was in Nazi-occupied Europe, which, again, Poland, but that wouldn't explain why in the menu the zombies leave our characters alone, why they ignore them. If, like the campaign, it was a place you would end up after death, where would that place be? Does it even exist? Is it the Dark Aether? I don't think the latter's the case, but most of this is theory. We just simply don't 100% know. We don't know where it's located, what the forest is, why Nikolai came here to die. One thing that has been suggested is it could be the centre of the universe. It just so happens that Nectar and Totem was our first zombies map ever. This forest was the place where Nikolai chose to come and die, to break the cycle, and then in Cold War, we now randomly find Project Endstation here, the place which once again begins the zombie outbreak in Cold War Zombies. What are the chances in Cold War of the Nazis, who would have been totally oblivious to what happened in our previous timelines? As far as we're aware, they don't know of Group 935, previous zombie outbreaks, yet miraculously they build a facility on the very same location as our first ever zombies map, Nectar and Toten, which causes the first zombie outbreaks in Cold War. What are the chances of that happening? That's very suspicious, hence why it's theorized that Nectar and Toten may very well be the centre of the universe, the point of origin, the place where everything expands from. Obviously, in terms of science and realism, the universe has no centre, but in a game sense, Tryout can do whatever they want, so if Nact was the centre of the universe, that could explain why Nikolai chose this place to come and die. Why it was the very last place as a part of the multiverse to disappear, because it's the centre. We don't know. There are loads of theories here. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, because that's what a lot of this revolves around. So anyway guys, there we go, that is it, that is all I have for you for today's video. As always, hopefully you have enjoyed. If you have, drop a like rating, make sure you are subscribed to stay up to date with the latest videos on the channel. Thank you all for watching, and as always I will see you in the next video. Until then, goodbye.